And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode number 61. So I did a bunch of testing. I think I may have figured out what was causing the static vehicle environment issue. It appears that it has to do with my ADF system. I have not had issues with this in the past. They stay operable in the world the entire time. They do not disappear as you go away from them. This potentially could have caused problems earlier, but it didn't. It was working fine, and so it appears that currently it doesn't work anymore. And so I took those out of the world. It appears that I can get some stable frames. You can see it's kind of culling the missions as they go now, so I don't know what was causing the issue, but it appears at the moment I have it somewhat fixed. And so I started a new save to get that going. We're a little bit hurting on money. We're not that bad. We're at 105, so we're not bad. I rebought the bases. We're good. There's some cool missions coming up here. I added more mission types now that I think we can run them without issue. Yes, SV environment's low. We're running at pretty good frames. You know, in the map, it's a little bit different. We look here. You see, we're up to 62 FPS, low static vehicle environment. So I think we're going to be good. We just got this cool mission here. It is the separator for the gold separator is on fire. We have a fire extinguisher in the tow truck, so we're going to go do that. We're going to go run across, do a little bit of night driving here, and get over there. I know a lot of people don't like the night stuff, but let me test out the lighting, and it's going to be a lot of probably time-lapse through anyways. And it'll give me an excuse to use this truck, so I'm glad I figured this out. You know, I might be speaking a little bit early, but I'm glad that I think I figured this out, and we can go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm really excited because I really been wanting to play. Let me do this really quick. What color do I want? Door color I noticed was off as I was editing one of the videos. So let's fix that while we're here. So, you know, I've been enjoying doing a bunch of building lately, but I don't necessarily want it that color. Let's see. Maybe a light gray. I want the interior color to be different than the body color. I can always do color swap after this, but you know, I've been doing a lot of building. The whole reason was because the game was so slowed down until I figured it out. So I finally sat down and did some more testing. I had tested quite a bit. I had tested the ADFs before, months ago, and they were not causing an issue, and they are now. So I don't know if it's something different with the way the world's working now, or if it's just me, but I'm not sure. So they have changed so that that's no longer a problem. I've shut them off. I will try to rebuild that system at some point so that I can use them, but at present, they are off. All right, so a little bit of a light gray interior there. What is that? Why is that color? That's fine. That's dash color. Let's make that door color instead. What are you? Okay, that's door frame. That's fine. Okay, let's save this. One other thing I wanted to do is I don't like where these air horns are. They should be pushed back like that. There we go. All right, and so we'll go do this mission, make sure I have a fire extinguisher on me. I do, it's right there. All right, nice. So let's go ahead and save this. Actually, one more thing I think I want to add. So right here behind the seat, symmetry needs to come off. All right, and I want a torch. Likelihood of me needing that is probably pretty large. All right, good. So that is all in. Let's save that again. All right, so let's go do this. So this will give me a chance to use my vehicle, go for a little drive. You know what, actually? Let's not use the tow truck. Let's use the car. We have yet to use the car, so we save the tow truck. Let's use the car. I'm kind of feeling that. It's a nice, windy, not rainy day. Let's use the convertible. I'd like to make a top for this at some point that I can put on. All right. Let's go. So I'm very pleased that I think I've figured this out. It is raining, but we'll live. A little torque steer on that one. Let's check something. Something might be up. Let's see. There's another reason why where are we at here? I need low vehicle teleport. There's another reason why I put on custom menu is, you know, I forget something really quickly or I screw something up, I can go back. Let's bring our dog with us here. Here. There. I forgot all about dogs. I had them shut off for a while. You stand there. Looks like a boxer. Let's see. Something appears to be up here. Steering, what's that? Angular speed. No, that's running. Angular speed out of there. Steering. Okay, that's fine. I think it's tuned up more than the truck is. All right, let's stick this dog in a seat. There we go. Get a little pickaroony with the dog'em. This is probably the first mission I've done with a dog. Alright, so let's go ahead and get going here. And we have the equipment in the back to put a fire out. So let's go. So, bit of a drive here, but distance to Stormworks is pretty short, and car is pretty fast, so try high beams on. There we go. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, so there we're doing 94 miles an hour, so we should be able to get there quick. A little bit strange driving in the rain in a convertible, but as long as you're moving fast, it doesn't get on you. That was, you know, what is... Oh, you know what it is? Wind. I was wondering why the car is misbehaving. The wind is very high. Let's see where the wind's at. Yeah, you see 50% wind, so that would be why it's a wind issue. It's like, yeah, that's not happening. Get out of here, dude. That's another reason, again, reason 9 million why I put on creative menu is, you know, I don't mind that the physics is different in game, but there are things that make it unplayable where, you know, the cars just weigh nothing. They're like little paper airplanes, and so, you know, you get a little bit of wind and now your car doesn't want to work. So it's nice to be able to configure the game how you want and enjoy it. Alright, so we're on our way here. We're going to go ahead and head over there, put out this fire at the separator. I'm excited to get back and doing some missions. I'm excited to have the game working again. It was very frustrating. One of the reasons I didn't test that ADF system earlier was that I had tested it before. And I tested it pre-oil update, and it worked fine. And I was not having that issue. I had saves that were going for months with the ADFs enabled. And now, with the ADFs enabled, it doesn't work. And I don't know if it's... I think it's been since oil that it's had this issue. So maybe something changed. Maybe it's all in my imagination. But... you know, I'm not sure what's up with that, but check the ADFs out. I'll see if I can redo them, make them a little bit lighter, maybe, you know, I hate to fake them. That's you know, that's kind of the obvious answer is to fake them, but, you know, for example, my cap air save was the same save the entire time, and the ADFs were always enabled, and I had no FPS problems, and so it's a reasonably new thing, and so... I'm just really thrilled that I figured it out. It really sapped my enjoyment in the game, not being able to play and not be able to do missions, and I was really excited about the oil stuff, and I pretty much, that was going down to a crawl. By the time I hit oil, I was in slowdown mode, and just, it was miserable. So we're gonna have to get our oil equipment back up and running too, so. Alright, so we're looking for, I believe it's the road south as we get towards Iron Mountain. So back in the day, before phones and GPS and sat-nav, you had to use maps. You know, when I was first delivery driver, we had to, you know, you had a map book, and it was a big book of maps, and that's how you knew how to deliver. And eventually, you figured it out, and you learned it, and you knew your route. So you see with that angular speed steering system, how I started to get light there, and it helped me recover. So it acted like a real car. One of the best things to do is if you're skidding out in a car is actually just not let go, but reduce pressure on the steering wheel, and it will try to essentially bring itself back to stability. Same thing with a lot of airplanes that are statically stable. They will bring themselves back to stability. I'm just going to cheat a little bit and check the map. Yep, I'm right where I thought I was, coming around. So Iron Mountain will be up here on the right, and then we're going to have to take the southern road before we get to Iron Mountain. So I think it's at the railroad tracks. You know, so I find some enjoyment. That should go to the airport. Yep, perfect. Look at this. See, this is me using memory. You know, and so it's kind of nice to you know the area and not have to use the mini map. I see, you know, a lot of people always checking the map, and it's nice to be able to kind of memorize it. You know, there's nothing wrong, of course, with, you know, relying on your phone for navigation or anything else, but it is a skill that is lost, and it's kind of nice to have it. You know the routing. You know, I was do interstate trucking and pretty much almost, you know, very rarely use the GPS more than once. Like the first time you go there, you use it, and if you used it every time, you never learned the route. If you, I think this is it. I didn't downshift fast enough. I slammed on the brakes. That's the one. Okay. It is, you know, it's a skill, and so when you drive without using the GPS, you have to remember landmarks. When you're driving with the GPS, you kind of zone out a little bit more, and you don't bother remembering what the landmarks look like. So when you drive without using the GPS, you start to memorize landmarks, and you say, okay, that's something to look out for. The railroad track's something to look out for. This turn here, there's a sharp left turn is where I have to go. And that's how, you know, I could drive all over many places. And, you know, it might be a place I hadn't driven to in 6 years that's like 200 miles away, and just remember where to go because you have to. So see how we got Swayze there? Our tail was, the ass of our car was fishtailing. That angular speed stability system on the front wheels is helping us with that. And, you know, in real life, you just lift off and you try not to oversteer, and it will correct itself because the tires will re-grab traction, and they'll want to go path of least resistance, which is straight ahead. And once the tire starts getting back in controllable spin, they'll also get some gyro forces back. Perfect. Good, good, good. So as I say, just pretty much like 2 or 3 quick map checks, and we're good. This area of the map I'm not all that familiar with, so I'll be looking for the separator. I'm gonna probably have to peek again to see. I think it's this way. Is it? I'm gonna have to look at the map here. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, we need to go back. Back main path. So I believe vehicle damage should be on because of the fresh save. So vehicle damage has been on this whole time. We're a pretty low car. I do have large tires on this to kind of account for that. So it's off to our left here. But I would recommend to people, try driving somewhere, if you, let's say you go to this place, often, and every time you put on the GPS, like my brother's, I'll put on the GPS when I go to my brother's house. If you stop doing that, try going without the GPS, you'll notice you start to remember the landmarks a little bit better. I have to check it here. This is the correct road. And you start remembering landmarks more, and then you realize you don't need it. And it's nice because a lot of people, if the GPS is out, if they can't get signal, if they forget their phone, they're completely lost. So it's kind of a nice life skill to have, is the ability to kind of navigate, know where north, south, east, west is, know how to read a map. That's a skill that's kind of gone out the window. I could do navigation, hundreds and hundreds of miles on an airplane with just a map. And it was a fun skill to know. It's always nice. It's nice to know how to use a compass. These are cool skills that, they might not always be valuable, but things don't have to be used all day, every day to be useful. You can just do it for your own fun and sense of accomplishment. Nice, nice. So first mission here with the car. Now, did I shut off headlights? What did I do? I pressed the headlights instead of the, and then my trunk is now on the seat, so I did fill it out 5. Okay, so we have that. It would be cool to put a light in here. Okay. All right, so let's go put the separator out. A little bit flamey here. But very excited to get back to missions. I was really kind of down on it that the game was giving me issues, and so it was on one of my add-ons. I do take the blame for that, but it was also, like I said, I had done many saves with that very same add-on, and not had any issues. Cap Air had that. All of my career build series before the Industrial Frontier had that. No problem. I think I might have waited till Industrial Frontier came out, but until Oil Update, all my saves had that add-on, and I had no problem. So it was something reasonably new. So I'm curious if there's something they added with Oil that changed the way that culling works or something. I could just be talking out my, you know what I mean. But there's a reasonable likelihood that something's changed, and I'm just thrilled to figure it out because it pretty much made it so my favorite game, I couldn't really play it. And so I am very happy to be able to be back and playing. So, you know, I love building, but, you know, just building for the sake of building wasn't interesting to me. Glad we have 2 fire extinguishers here. There we go. I was hitting the wrong part to put it out. There we go. Up, up, up. Getting burned here. How to get burned? How to get burned? Nice. Okay, good. Need to quickly go another. Get out of there. Just throw that one on the ground. I need the other fire extinguisher before before it just ignites 10 more fires. I jumped down. One thing I'm going to try to do less of is teleporting, stuff like that. I know I just did it in the beginning of this video, but I'm going to try to do not necessarily hardcore, but like, you know, there's good reason why, especially when I'm making videos, why I have to have on the creative menu. You know, it's, you know, it already can take quite a while to make some videos, and if I had to physically drive back when I forget something on a vehicle, that would take forever. The ability to quickly teleport back allows me to, you know, cut down that frustration, you know, and cut down the wasted time. You know, and often, you know, like I talk about all the time is, you know, one of the ways to manage bugs and not let them, you know, really frustrate you is if you have something like the creative menu on and a bug pops up that makes a mission, you know, bug out and it won't give you credit for the money. Well, you did the mission. You can go in the XML and you can add the money, you can teleport, you can load up another save and, you know, do the mission again. And so all these things are, I wouldn't call them cheating. It's a way to have extra tools to be able to get around problems with the game. So. You know, I can cut down on frustration greatly. There we go. Nice. Okay, good. So that was cool to get this mission done. I need to see where I'm going here. I don't want to have to run around the entire place again. Nice. So this is the gold washing separator. Put your gold in here. It would be nice to get back to this. You know, there are a lot of people talking about how, you know, Industrial Frontier, a lot of the, you know, content creators for the game stopped playing Industrial Frontier and doing this. You know, I've talked about it before, you know, how there were some things that I think the devs could have and should have done differently that would have improved this. And, oh, I have to rescue people too? I see you up there, guy. Let me check the map. One. Okay. Hey, what's up there, guy? If you weren't waving your hands, I would never have seen you. How do I get up there? Oh, come on. I'm gonna no-clip it in 2 seconds here. Trying not to no-clip. You know, you start getting dependent on some of these cheats, you know. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you can't really cheat in a single-player game. You know, it's, but, you know, you start to do things that you wouldn't normally do, and so I'm trying to get away from it a little bit. Sometimes you kind of need to. You're sitting in the back, dog. Sit in the front, guy. All right, and this Fire X can go in here. Do you need assistance, sir? Nope, you're good. Okay, good. All right, I just picked one up. There we go. All right, let's get out of here. So let's go ahead and we will close the trunk. Take off the parking brake. We'll go in reverse. Let me get third person going. Another reason is, you know, I use third person a bunch for making my videos. So another reason I have the that on. have create a menu on. Ooh, I can't see anything. There we go. We kind of look. You would stall that in real life like that. You'd need to feather it really badly because you're still going backwards. I'm just kind of looking at the map, seeing where I'm at for. Okay, so down the road and to the left. Okay, good. Would be nice to get back into some of this industrial frontier, doing some mining. You know, maybe build some more vehicles. Kind of play it by ear, see what I'm feeling at all times. You know, it's sometimes it doesn't seem like I have a coherent narrative, and it's because I don't. You know, it would be not so fun if I did stuff that I felt obligated to do. It's one of the reasons why I play the way I do. Is it's, you know, if I'm doing something a certain way, if I moved away from a certain type of gameplay, it's because I'm not feeling it, and I think it shows in the content as if it's forced and I'm not enjoying it. I think you guys can certainly tell, you know, and it's if I'm enjoying it, we're all having fun. All right, let's go ahead. I need to put in some stall protection on that, but so good little mission there. Let me see if I can't. I know I'm at night. There's another thing is I'm trying to. You know, I get that night missions can be kind of harder for you guys to see, but it's kind of fun for me to do some night missions here and there, and so I like to do it. You know, I'm trying to keep it down to about 1/10, so 1/10 of the missions will be at night, and so I can artificially use creative menu to get rid of that. So another reason I have creative menu on is a lot of people ask for me to keep it mostly day missions, and so that way it allows me to do it. So that's not a ton of money, $5 grand, but that's good. We needed the money. All right, let's see where we're at. What's this? This one was an interesting mission. This one is Transpo People. So it's take 2 fishers, not fisher cats, fisher people, fishermen, fisherwomen, and bring them to North Village. Okay, you could park at Endo. That's actually, see, this is kind of neat. I want more of this stuff. I want more airport-to-airport stuff. And this isn't necessarily airport to airport, it's close, but it would be nice to see them do this where they have a specific mission where it's airport to airport or airport and then somewhere close to the airport. So you could kind of RP it as, all right, I fly from here to here and then I put them in a car and I drive them. That would be kind of a cool mission. It's kind of what I was doing with Cap Air. This is neat, underwater sample. I turned on underwater missions again. And I had a suspicion that that was causing the problems, but I don't believe it is. And so that's another cool one. So we're not going to do that, but we will go ahead and we're going to head back to FJ Warner. And if another mission doesn't pop up that I don't want, I will maybe do that plane mission. All right, so like I was talking about, driving via map, I'm going to try doing that a little bit. So I'm going to continue down this road, and then I believe this is railroad. That's railroad there. This is car road here. I'm trying to think what's the most expeditious way to get there. So let's go back this way, actually. Let's head up, meet this. And we'll come in on the... Let's actually go by the airport. So we'll go right and left here, up past the launch site. Take a left here, and then we'll head up. So that's how we would do it IRL, is, kind of map out your route before you do it. Alright, and we're off. So, kind of fun to get a ground mission going here. Something a little bit different. It was nice using this car, I almost, took the tow truck and completely forgot about the car. But, is this my turn off? So, often what you do, IRL, is you would stop and you would look at your map. Nope, that's good. Alright, so, it's at the end. So, we'll go to the end. I was kind of born in I think, a cool decade where, of course, it'll probably happen again, but, nope, there we go, to the right. But, it was back, we didn't have cell phones as kids, and so it was like a lot of things, a lot of the skills we learned, you needed, because, of course, you couldn't tell what the future was going to hold and what you'd have for tools. So you learned, your dad or your mom would teach you how to read a map and how to navigate and how to drive. And it was important that when you were driving somewhere that you would pay attention to landmarks. You couldn't zone out as much as you can now, where you know, you're just kind of driving along, and you hear, turn right in 1 mile. And you used to have to it was white knuckling. You were constantly like, when's my turn, when's my turn, when's my turn, and you would set your odometer. So like if you knew that you would stay on this highway for 55 miles and then you would turn off at exit 6, you would set your odometer to 0 when you got on the highway, and then as you were at 50 you were like an eagle, with eyes peeled, waiting for the turnoff. It was kind of cool. It was a neat little skill set you had to learn. We used to have to remember phone numbers and all sorts of stuff like that you don't have to do. Like, the closest people to me in my life now, I don't remember any of their phone numbers, but I do remember their old house numbers from when I was growing up. So I think it's just super cool, those, the little paradigm shifts that we have in life that, things that used to be important, things you used to do, like remembering phone numbers, you don't do anymore. Like, we would, I remember, you'd go to the school nurse when you were sick as a kid, and I remembered Nan and Pop's phone number, and I would call them to come pick me up when I was sick at school, and, little cool stuff like that, now people, you ask them what their parents' phone number is, and they couldn't tell you. I can't tell you what my parents' cell phone numbers are, but I can still tell you what the house phone number is, and I can tell you what my Nan and Pop's house phone number is, from when I was a kid, So it's just kind of cool, those little changes we have in life. All right, so we're coming up on monkey brain. It was monarchy brain for a while until they fixed it. Car's running well. I'm glad that it was just a wind issue. I was like, oh no, I thought I fixed that. So, with a manual, you have to downshift. So I just downshifted. And so that's stalling. You would really stall in real life if you didn't downshift. So one of the reasons I like the manual is I have to stay engaged. Okay, I have a turn coming up. I need to drop a couple gears. So that kind of stuff is fun to me. That was another thing is, most kids these days are, I sound like an old man. Most kids these days aren't going to ever drive. Oh, there's a turn. So I downshifted 3 gears there. And you see we didn't stall. They're never going to experience driving a manual car. And so it's like one of the things that, when people are like, they don't understand how to make a clutch work correctly, or they just do a clutch as an on-off switch. And as somebody who's driven manuals for a very long time and professionally, it makes sense to me, but it makes perfect sense as well why a lot of people don't understand it is because they'll never have that experience. And, it's, it's kind of... it's kind of a shame to a certain extent. You kind of lose touch with, how that works, and as things become more automated, I think you lose touch with it. And that's one of the reasons I don't like doing a ton of automation is it's, you lose touch with the machine. And I've always loved machines. I've always operated machines, airplanes and trucks and cars and everything else, and motorcycles. And it's, it's the love of the machine. It was like, Honda's really pushing everybody, trying to get them into the dual clutch automatic transmission motorcycles now. And I could not care less for an automatic motorcycle. It's part of the fun is, making the rev matching perfectly and making those beautiful, perfect rev match shifts. And that's a lot of the fun of going out and driving that vehicle, and it's same thing with a tractor trailer is I want a manual gearbox. I want to make, I want to show my expertise, and I want to feel that sense of accomplishment when you have the perfect gear change, And that's more rewarding to me, and that's why a lot of my stuff, they're not overly automated. When people are like, "Oh, put in a full digital dash," I don't want a full digital dash. I like old analog stuff. Like I like my motorcycle having old analog tack and speedo, and it's a much more you're in charge, and it's a big paradigm shift of letting the machine take over, and I am very much against that. So for myself, I don't. Again, difference between the golden rule and the platinum rule. Golden rule is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and the platinum rule is do unto others as they'd be done by you. And so it's like, if you enjoy automated stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me, and the good thing is we can both kind of have what we want, But let's look at our fuel. We're down at 22 gallons, so we've used about a quarter of a tank to drive halfway across the arid biome and back. So nice and fuel efficient. That's really cool. And again, this didn't take me long. You know, we're almost back. It took 30 minutes with me lost multiple times. And you know, that wasn't a big deal driving across. You know, these distances are short. We went all the way from here, all the way down here, all the way back in 30 minutes. Pretty reasonable. And we did a mission. We put out a fire. The fire took a little while to take out. We had to bring somebody to the hospital, you know. So the distances are really not all that long. I might have to weight up this car and weight up my truck some more just because of wind issues. I wasn't considering the wind all that much, but I'll see if I can hide some weight in here. One thing to the devs, again, in one of these minor updates, I would love to see you guys make it so that using additive paint, you could paint the dot on the weight blocks. This will allow us to do things like, for example, I could weight my doors, I could weight the frame of the car, and not have that annoying paint block. A lot of people, you know, they'll put more weight in their airplane to make sure that it can fly fast because it's weight dependent. And they have these dots everywhere that they'd probably rather not to have. And so let us paint it so that we can get rid of it if we want. So I'm watching my tachometer, and that's how I'm choosing when to downshift. There's my downshift point. And if I made this an automatic, all I would do is select its up and down shift points and let it do it automatically. But again, I have no desire for an automatic transmission. None. All right, good. So we're here. So I really didn't want to get into scripting my own episodes, and that was what I was afraid I was going to have to do if I ended up with, you know, if I ended up having that memory leak that wouldn't go away. So let's put our dog away. We want the dog somewhere safe, and let's go do that transpo mission. I'm trying to continue with the trend of only using vehicles that I've built in this particular career build series. It doesn't have to be, but I kind of like that trend. So car worked really well. Can't see any issues we had with it. One thing I should do is this. So let's go like this. Let's add a couple things while we're here. So right here. Okay, these are crap. These are okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. It can be off-centered. I believe that was a reg block. That's a 2, that's a 2. Okay, right here. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. It can be right here. But what I'm going to put in is often what you'd have is an anchor point. And the anchor point would be, you'll see them on your car. You'll have these tow hooks. And let's do black. And you'd have these tow hooks. And that's so that if you have to tow the vehicle out or pull the vehicle out of somewhere, it gets stuck somewhere, you would use the tow hooks. So I want to put a tow hook in there. Often you will see them off center, so that's not a bad thing. And then I'm going to put a couple up front. And so that will just allow me to, in the event that we get stuck somewhere, which is probably likely at some point, we can actually get ourselves out. So a couple tow hooks under there, and that makes that vehicle so that we can easily tow it out because we might have to pull it out. And so let's do that. All right, good. So let's go ahead and see what we have for air vehicles here. This is probably the only vehicle we built in this one that is kind of ready to go. All right, so let's get going. And remember, this is a VFR craft, so I don't have any... park and brake, where you at there, guy? I don't have any navigation equipment in here. So I have to operate via visual flight rules, and that... Oh. I'm having an issue here. What is going on? It's... Okay, what's going on, man? I think the wind is still up. Alright, we're up. A little bit of a fakey, weird takeoff, but not the end of the world. This vehicle does have a cooling issue at the moment. I have yet to add in manifold and RPM for the prop. I have to add that. So we're going to navigate via visual flight rules here. I'm trimmed up pretty well, so if you look, we have to go up to the island over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut off my map vehicle. I don't want to see that. I want to do it via visual flight rules. So we'll kind of plan. I'm just going to go in and out of the map here. So we want to go north, a little bit east of north, so maybe like a 025, a 030 heading. And so let's try like a 030 heading, and we want to do this via a visual landmark. You don't want to just go over the ocean. Going over the ocean is a great way to get lost. And so if we go up this direction, we should hit this piece of land, and then we want to head east, and we should be able to see that. So that's visual flight rules, how I would do this IRL. I will have to monitor my temperature. Once I put in the ability to change my prop pitch, I'll be able to increase the prop pitch and therefore increase load and decrease the decrease the RPM, which will decrease heat production. I can also just do the dreaded thing that nobody wants to do in Stormworks, which is reduce the thrust and slow down. So we're around 1,000 feet here. I'm staying a little bit on the low side. 1,000 is pretty low, just above pattern altitude, just because I want to make sure I can see my landmark. See, it's pretty hazy and foggy, but once I get over the mainland, I should be able to see it. So we're going to keep on like a 02, 03, somewhere it will hit land somewhere up in this neighborhood, and then we can just head to the east and we'll find it. So again, using visual flight rules, you see, pea soup, can't see anything, and we can still navigate using the sectional chart. I have a trim in here, a little bit. That must have been the last trim setting. That was probably what was causing me issues with aircraft. So again, I keep cross-checking. So your cross-check would be like attitude, airspeed, attitude, compass, attitude, altitude, attitude, VSI, attitude, turn slip, attitude, and you keep cross-checking through, and you'll look out as well. And as you can see, I just cross-checked my attitude. I was in a turn. I actually do want to do a little bit of a turn. Let's get back around like a 225-ish heading here. I need to put in an integrated yaw just to make it behave more realistically. All right, temp is coming up, so I'm going to pull my speed down here. Once I get that going, I should be able to load it up and not have issues. One way I've been testing that lately is what I'll do is I'll put a delta on there, and I'll see if we start getting a temp loss. If that keeps going up, which it probably will, I need to fix the cooling system's broken on this. I probably will end up having to actually turn off engine overheating, which is fine. Again, the good reason to have that on is this is all part of the testing phase of this particular aircraft, and so I don't mind that, you know, I have to quote-unquote cheat every once in a while because I'm trying to figure out what this aircraft needs, and so being too particular about it isn't going to help me actually build an aircraft that works well. So I'm just trimming. I want to stay, like, the attitude indicator is wrong on this. I need to figure out why. I think it has to do with the prop pitch, but you notice we're climbing, and that's about a level pitch attitude. VSI, the VSI, I want to get to about 0, and I'm going to trim my VSI out. And so what you'd actually do is you put your VSI to, you'd get it pretty close to 0. So as you can see there, we're a little bit of a descent. Just going to add a touch of trim. And touch back. And notice my VSI is pretty close to 0. And then what you would do is you'd turn a knob here and you would set your artificial horizon. That's your new artificial horizon. And so you'd actually move this artificial horizon line, and then you would put it on the other artificial horizon, and that's how you tune it in the air. All right, so we have this island here. It's a horseshoe with a horseshoe with a little island in the middle. We're going to look for that right here. So we're up on the peninsula where I thought we were going to be. Isn't it great when plans come together? And so we're going to start making our turn to the east, and this is exactly how you do it in real life. You know, you sit down before a flight, and you plan out your cross country, and you plan out your route. And so you mark it on the map. You find distinguishable things that you'll be able to see from the air, so you want to make sure you can actually see them. So something like a big mountain, which is right here. Let me check my temps. Temps creeping up. I'm just going to shut it off for now. Where are we at here? Take that off for now. And, you know, so you would say mark this mountain. So you know there's a mountain here. And you know, okay, when I get to the mountain, I want to head due east. And so what you do is use this tool, and it will tell you the actual heading. And so I can just kind of estimate, or guesstimate is actually a term we used to use. A guess and an estimate at the same time. All right, and so we're going to turn to about a 090 heading, and we should have an airport about 12 o'clock. And so we're going to keep an eye out for it. We're at 1,100 feet, so we're not that high. You really wouldn't want to descend over the ocean. The reason is, you know, you want to, especially with a single engine, is you want to maintain glide. All right, so we're going to be looking for this here. I'm actually going to ascend a little bit just because of the fog. Let me cut the fog down just a hair. Go down like 15% fog. I want you guys to be able to see it, so. Alright, and we're probably, sometime you have to tip the wing, see if you're over it. We're headed a little bit to the north of east. Just, it's really foggy, so we're looking for it. I'm trying not to cheat, try to actually look at it. So you see my engine would be overheating now if I left that on. I'm just going to cheat a little bit and see where we are. I don't know, see, one thing I wish we had is the ability to kind of draw lines on the map, and they have this in DCS, where you can drag the line and it will tell you the bearing and the distance, and it would be nice to have that on the map in game to actually do some plotting. But I understand why they don't do it, is, you know, very few people would probably use it, so it's not really the most. I think it's, yeah, it's right there. I thought I saw it in the cockpit. Check. So it's over here, the island's over here. I'll see it when we get a little closer. And so we'll come in for landing there. I think it's right there. It's hard to see. And we'll grab these two people and we'll fly them down to Ender. And then we probably can walk them off. The distance is short enough we can walk them off. All right, gears coming down, flaps are coming down. I still haven't put landing lights on this. All right, and we're gonna turn to final, base to final here. And so as you can see, using some real pilotage here. Pilotage is an actual term. Pilotage is the act of like doing things like navigating and stuff like that. Use your pilotage to operate and navigate. And I'm looking at those two solid squares, those are my aiming bars, and so we're gonna start to arrest the sync rate a little bit. And that's about it. So now we're aiming at the aiming bars. 76 is a little slow. Not terrible, but I don't want to get much slower than that. And we'll try to put down around the aiming bars. I'm trying not... So we're floating. We don't need a lot of speed in this craft, which is nice. Not the most graceful, but not bad either. I still need to put in some trim to account for the high center of thrust on that engine. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Turn, 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 brakes. I have to be careful with this. It's very tippy because of the high center of thrust, and it has the rocket glitch in there, and so it's a little bit. It feels very light. But to get a seaplane that behaves well, it kind of needs that. It needs it, so, or it behaves realistically. Let's put it that way. All right, and we're gonna try not to tip over, run over these people. There we go. Oh, come on, put the tail down, put the tail down, put the tail down. There it goes. Okay, we're good. Set the park brake. And it's gonna sit on its nose. It's just... This is a little bit wonky because of what I've had to do with glitches and center of thrust and stuff like that. So it needs work is the long and the short of it. Oh, come on. Nobody said to close the door. Alright. After me, then, I guess. Alright, let's do this. And these are little, like, methods to, you know, to de-gamify it here is, of course, you'd be able to easily get in yourself. And now I kind of have to do weird stuff, so I just jump from seat to seat. And gets me in there. Drop this person off right in front of the door. Go ahead and jump up. And get out. Get in the padded seat. Get this one. Stand up. Come on. Stand up. You're at work here. Stand up. There you go. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. It's like his legs buckled and he's not working anymore. All right, let's go ahead. Park brake's coming off. No taxi out. Now we're just gonna do a fakey takeoff here. We're not gonna worry about it too much. And we have overheating off, so again, I will fix that. So what do we need to do to navigate? We need to do the opposite. So we went east to get here. We need to go west to get away from here. And so we're going to turn a 070 until we get to that mountain. Then we're going to turn, so if we were about 20 to 30 degrees, 25 degrees east, now we need to head 25 degrees west when we make our southern turn. So we'll do 180 plus 25, so you're talking 205. So 270, and then when we get around the mountain, we'll head to 205. So pretty simple dead reckoning navigation here. So this is way off. I need to figure out what's up with this. That's not, it's doing the deck angles fine. It's trying to see what's up with, it could be an issue with the propeller. I'll have to figure it out. Something's up with this. It's not horrific, but it's a little bit off. You know, every aircraft's deck angle is a little bit different. That's one of the reasons why turbine engines, they tend to point a little bit towards the ground when it's sitting on the ground, is because when it's in the air, you have to have your angle of attack needs to be positive in order to not lose altitude. So they make it so the turbines are actually pointing about where they'd be in flight. You know, and you would have that problem of center of thrust under this, you know, be under the center of gravity and try to keep pitching the nose up. And so by tipping the turbines down a little, that does the same thing as using the propeller trim here. All right, so we're coming over the mountain, we're coming over the peninsula, we're going to turn to 205. All right, and we're going to go right over this island. So the way we'd plan this via sectional would be we could do, okay, you want to go mountain, you want to go over here, you want to look for the refinery island, you want to then go south to this island or there. That would be a little bit more of, you know, kind of what you would be doing so that you can constantly correct and make sure your planning is not off. We'd actually have our students plan more waypoints than they would need, because it would demonstrate to us that they knew what they were doing. All right, so once we get here, we're gonna dead reckon across, so we're gonna head at probably, I don't know, 215, 230 to head this way to get to Ender. I'm gonna watch my altitude here. Checking my heading again. My heading's fine. I'm gonna climb a little bit. So I need to put some of that trim back in that I had. So this plane I might leave very much VFR. I might leave this as a VFR plane that I have to actually operate myself. I think that will be a reasonable thing to do. It's nice to have something in the toolkit that you have to use a certain set of skills for, and so for this, I have to do visual navigation. And I kind of like that. This doesn't have a ton of uses. You know, it is a reasonably versatile craft, but if the wind is up at all in the water, so see where we're planning for to go right by Refinery Island, there it is. You know, so, you know, it looks like pea soup, can't see much, but if you're using a compass properly, you can easily navigate yourself. And of course, this is me with decades of flying experience, you know, and so, you know, I can kind of guess what a heading's going to be, you know. You know, for somebody who doesn't have any navigation experience, it's tough to guess where on the compass. It's tough to say, oh, that's only about 10 degrees. You might think, oh, it's 30 degrees. Well, it might only be 10, you know. And the further you're going, a smaller deviation, you're going to be way off. All right, and so, you know, if I could use that drag system, I could drag to here and say, okay, you know, when you flight plan, you would actually figure out the distances, and you would, with your, you know, you have a ruler, and it has nautical miles on it, and the sectional chart is to scale, so you put it on the sectional chart, you read out how many nautical miles it is. I need to go a little bit to west. So we're going over this little island here, which I think is a viable island. Is it this one? No, it's, I think it's not viable. I think it's this one that we just went over. So I'm going to turn a little bit more to the west. I think about a 215 is going to take us right to Ender. Ender. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ender. It's Ender is Ender's brand, so. A little bit of a descent going in there. So I want to keep around 1,000. Reason is the fog, because I want to be able to see. So we would be overheating, as you can see. Engine is very hot. That needs to be fixed. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'll deal with that later, and I'll get the cooling system fixed. But again, this is, like I said, this is the testing phase. I'm seeing what this plane needs, you know, see if it's, you know, so the thing it really, really needs is a cooling system. It does not need a navigation system. It does not need an autopilot. I'm able to navigate quite well without it. A bearing system would be good so that if we get, you know, if the weather changes, I don't have to cheat off fog. I can just kind of get us in there. I would love to have the ADF system in there and just use that, but I'm not going to be able to because that's what's causing the lag. So, quick lag check. SV environment's down, so it was definitely that. As you can see, we're coming over FJ Warner docks, so you know, that's the fun part for me is like this type of flying is, you know, you get a sense of accomplishment when you're, you know, actually navigating your own and you're getting places, and you know, you say, oh, you know, my guess was about a 215 to go over FJ, and guess what? It is. And I get a sense of accomplishment over there. It shows that I kind of know what I'm doing, you know, and if I was just doing an autopilot, well, there's no sense of accomplishment, you know, and so that's why, you know, again, talking about why I'm not a huge fan of too much automation. All right, so visual flight rules. We're going over a road. We're going over a track. Anytime you see a landmark, you want to consult your sectional and see and tell yourself at least where you are. We went over FJ. We went over a road. We went over a railroad track, so we went over there. All right, good. So we know where we are. Always want to know where we are. 215 heading. We still should be continuing on. I got a little bit of vertigo there. I couldn't tell what was. It looks to me almost like we're turning because of the shape of that cloud, but we're not. So in instrument flight training, you learn to trust your instruments. So I thought we were turning because of the shape of that cloud. What was the first thing I did? Look at my attitude indicator. We're going to tip our wing. All right, we notice we have a depot there. So we're going to go back to our map. We want to consult. What's that depot? Right here. It looks exactly like it. All right, so are we headed in the right direction? No, we need to go about 20 degrees right. So let's go about 250 heading. All right, let's go 250. All right, and you constantly want to make corrections like this. You know, and we used to do this with students. You'd go over a landmark and you'd be like, what's that landmark? And they're like, it's this. You go, does it look like that? Is it the same shape? And they go, well, no. Well, then that's not what it is. And they'd be like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm like, is I don't know good enough? And they'd be like, well, what do you mean? And I go, dude, I'm training you to fly by yourself. Is I don't know good enough? And they were like, oh, no. Okay, well, look, take the time, look at the chart. And they would look and they say, oh, it's very square. Okay, well, what's very square on the map? And they'd find it. And, you know, now they have that confidence they can go out on their own and not, you know, get lost. We have Ender Airport right there. What airport is that? I forget the name of it. What is this? Clark. So Clark is right off here. We're going here, so our turn is helpful. Let's go another 5. We'll see. We drifted here. There we go. I still need to fix up some of the flight systems. All right, so we have a road here. We're coming across Ender. There is the road. We have another road on this side here. That should look familiar. We're just down here. So we have this road, and we have this road over here. So we're coming right through here. And so we actually probably need to turn about, I don't know, let's go 15 left, so like 240. Constant corrections, and we're just using the landmarks to get ourselves. Now, in real life, I would have planned this out, and I would have known that once I hit FJ Warner, I need to turn to this heading, and then once I hit this point, I need to turn to this heading. And because I can't actually get the headings off of the chart like you would in real life, I have to kind of wing it and do dead reckoning, which is look at a landmark. Okay, is that where it's supposed to be? Okay, there's a gas station there and a road. Let's look at the map. Gas station and road. Okay, right there. I think it's one of these. Okay. Turn, don't turn. Am I going the right direction? Am I not? That should be the, I think that's the hospital right there. Yep, hospital right off my right wing. Hospital's right here, so we're somewhere up here. Okay, good. Coming across, making good progress. We should be seeing the water. Yep, there's the water right in front of us. Okay, let's look at the peaks. We have peak, peak, peak. 3 peaks in a row. Peak, peak, peak. 3 peaks in a row. Okay, good, we're there. We have a rock and another rock. Big one, a small one. Big one, a small one. This is what we'd be doing the entire flight when you're training somebody for their private pilot licenses. You know, what's that? Where's that on the chart? And so they spend their entire time on the chart. Yeah, bridge, 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 bridge. Okay, what do we have? We have bridge, 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 and bridge right there. So we're just to the north of this. We're coming across here. Perfect. You know, so this is how you learn to fly. So I thought that might be interesting to some people. All right, we're coming up here on a bridge. So where's that bridge? Right here. Okay, good. So we have that bridge there. So we actually want to turn probably 5 degrees to the west. There we go. All right. Now we're gonna be going down. We have medium, small, big. Medium, small. Where's that? Medium, small, big, right there. Okay. And this is pretty much simple navigation, how you do it IRL. Alright, we have a big island in the water there. Where's that? Big island in the water right there. Should be one right next to it. Yep. Should be one right next to it. And so we're going to follow the coast down here, and we'll come in and we'll land. That's actually, we want to land towards where we're going. We'd land into the wind IRL, but I don't really care right now, so I just want to get us, finish up and get the mission done. So, really, really enjoying that I am back playing some missions here. I've missed it. I'm glad I figured that issue out. Like I said, those ADFs were not causing me problems before. You know, some people have noted, I don't know if any of this is connected, but some people have noted that like a lot of things like the barrels and the pallets that are in the world have not been disappearing for them. I wonder if it's, some of that stuff's getting locked in. But with the ADF system shut off, which I'm not all that thrilled that I had to shut it off, but now the world's working, and it was working before, but it's not now, so I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to play the way I have to play to enjoy it. And so we're going towards a bridge here, 12 o'clock, bridge, 12 o'clock. This one right here, perfect. So we should be able to look to our left and see the airport. And you do this with your students all the time. You go, where are we now? Okay, where's the airport? And you make them point out the airport to you. Let's see. Yep, we just go over the bridge. We're going to turn, and Endair has a mountain right next to it. This mountain right here. And I can see a big mountain. So you'd use especially large landmarks. I have to keep tapping the rudder hard because I don't have it tuned in right. And I can see Endair, so flaps coming down, gears going down. Verify parking brake is off. Parking brake is off. You do not want to land with your parking brake on. Endair in sight. So as you can see, you can use visual flight rules to easily navigate around the world of Stormworks, very much like you would IRL. You don't need moving maps. You just need a compass. You just need the ability to do some dead reckoning, and you can, you know, you can do it. And it's fun, and I suggest people try it out, you know. You know, you should play how you want to play, but it's nice to get out of your comfort zone and try it sometimes, you know. You know, if you're getting a little bit bored with the game, you know, try doing some things like that. Try actually navigating via visual flight rules. Try navigating on the ocean with just a compass, you know, and a bearing system. That's one reason I put in the bearing system is, you know, I'd navigate thousands of miles. I'm not interested in, you know, having a moving map. I don't need it. It takes some of the fun out of it for me. You know, and like I was saying, when you're driving and you're always, you know, always have the GPS on, you know, you'll find that you know, you don't remember where you are and you don't spend as much time kind of paying attention to the landscape because you don't need to. And when you're actually needing to look at landmarks to navigate, you start paying attention more to things around, and you see, oh, I remember that gas station there. I I turn there to go here, you know, when I get to that gas station. So it's kind of a cool way to navigate. It's kind of the old school way. All right, brakes are on. All right, propellers off, lights are off, flaps can come up. All right, now let's go ahead and get these people out of here, and we're just gonna walk them off. Could you have the window open in a plane like this? Absolutely. We only went to 1,000 feet. You don't need oxygen until you're over 15,000, and for I believe it's greater than 30 minutes. And so, if memory serves. And so you wouldn't need oxygen. There's still plenty of oxygen that low down, you know. I kind of don't want to pick you up and carry you. All right, so I'll spare you guys me running these people off, and I hope you enjoyed that. Very happy to get back into missions here. Happy to get that problem finally figured out, and be back in the missions and having some fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.